Hey everyone, I'm Brian Parks, the CEO of Synapse Software, and in this video I want to show how to create a board in Slingshot. So most of this is going to be a demo, but before we get into that, I want to explain a little bit about what a board is. Most of you are probably familiar with boards. Either you've used them in Jira. Jira has something that they actually call it boards as well, and it's designed for kind of a Kanban-style process. Or you've used just something like Trello, which I think they also call it boards. But it's more, instead of being columns of a workflow, it's a series of lists. The key being that each item can only be on one list at a time. So it works really well for things like status updates, but it also can work for which department has ownership of a particular um, piece of information or something like that, or just to keep track of things in different lists. Maybe you have multiple shopping lists and you need to get some things from Costco and some things from your supermarket and some things from the pet store or something like that. And that's obviously a kind of a contrived example. You might not use that in the business world, but those sorts of things are what boards and lists are good for. So in this demo, I really want to take an example that I used in a previous video. I showed a service catalog, and I'll actually do a video, I think it's the next video, but a video in the near future on how to build that service catalog. So I'll actually show how I did that. But in this video, I want to show the kind of the back-end process for that. So you can see I have a collection that I have called incidents, and in there I have three demo incidents, and you can see I actually added a status column. So the important pieces are name, and then category and service are used by the service catalog. There's some kind of auditing type fields, created by, updated by, created date, updated date, and then status. And if we go over to the actual schema where I define that, go over to the incidents collection and edit the schema, you can see name, description, category, service. So description didn't show up on that list because it's a multi-line text field, but we'll actually use it when we create the board to show some additional detail. And then we added this status field, and it's of type enum, or it's an enumeration type, and the valid values are new, assigned, and closed. I've also made it have a default value so that if new incidents come in, say through the service catalog, I don't have to specify that the value of the status field should be new. It automatically gets that value. But everything else is just left the defaults. It's an enum type, and it has a default value. So if we go over to our boards list, let's go ahead and add a new board. Let's call it demo incidents. There are a few different things we can add here, but everything starts with the collection that we want to show on the board. So in this case, it's incidents, and then we want to add a few columns. So let's say we have a new column and assigned was the next one, and then closed. Now there's nothing requiring that you name the columns exactly the same as the various statuses that you're using, or the whatever you're using to indicate what list a particular record is on. In this case, it kind of works out that way. But if you wanted to show one list of in progress, but you had several different states or statuses that indicated in progress, pending response, in progress, waiting for customer, whatever you wanted them to be, you could have multiple statuses for each of these columns, and you do that by adding values. So I'm actually going to add, in this case, we do have values for this column that are named the same, more or less the same. The case is slightly different, but more or less the same as the name of the column. So I'm going to add the value new, and I'm actually going to add a blank one here as well. What this will do is, because I added that status column, or that status field, after I already had some incidents in the system. Those incidents don't have a value for that field, but I do want them to show up on this board in the new column. So by adding this blank value here, it'll catch those records that don't have a value for the status field. And then of course for this column I'm going to add assigned, and then here we'll add closed. The other thing that we need to add is actually two things. One is card fields. Let's add name and description. So this will show the name of the incident and then the description of it on the card in the board. And then let's add some background colors. And let's just say white. And we'll leave the expression blank, just leave all cards with a background color of white. Now we should be able to save. Column field is missing. Oops, that's kind of important too. Column field is the field of the records that's used to decide what column it goes in. So since we're sorting by status, we need to use status as the column field. Let's save. There we go. It's saved successfully. And now if we go over to our list of boards, we see demo incidents, and I can click on that, and now I see my 3 incidents. Now let me open up this list of incidents in a new tab just so we can see what the list view looks like. So you'll notice this first incident, help, has a status of new, but the other ones don't have any status in that field. But they all show up in the new column. That's because we set the values for that column to be new and the empty value. Now if I moved this one, for instance, which had an empty status, over to assigned, and refresh this list, you'll see that one now has the status assigned. So you can see it updated in the background. Now, if I move this back, it'll actually set it to new. And what's important about that is we set the values for that column to be new and then empty status. When you drag and drop, the first value is what's used to set that field when it's dropped in a new column. So if I had set the empty value as the first value in that list, it would basically unset that field. It would set that value to the empty value if I dropped it back to new. But because we set new as that first value, when I move this back here and refresh the page here, it'll get the status new. And of course, if I move it to closed, it'll get the status closed, and that's fine. As you might expect, it works kind of the same as Trello, kind of the same as dragging and dropping within Jira. But as you saw, it's very flexible. You can even do more things that I didn't show here. Let's actually go to the edit button here. You can filter, and we'll get into filters and expressions in a later video because they're a little more complex topic. And then you can also sort by a field and in a certain direction. And you can actually customize the background colors. Again, those are a little more advanced topics, so I'll leave them to a future video. But that's basically what you can do with boards. Everything's customizable, and it's a very simple UI that's built on top of that, designed to be usable first, and also very flexible and extensible, and that's basically it. So I hope you liked that demo, and stay tuned for more. I'll have a lot more information on some of the other features that I have in Slingshot. And if you have a specific question about boards or how you want to use boards, go ahead and leave a comment down below or shoot us an email. We'd love to hear from you. We love customer feedback, user feedback. That's kind of how we decide what we're going to build next, or at least in part how we decide what we're going to build next, because we build this platform for you guys so that you can achieve your business goals and be able to automate your business, be more efficient, and do the amazing things that you do. So with that, I want to let you know that you can always email us, info@synapsesoftware.com. Any questions, any interests, any suggestions, we monitor that email address basically all the time, so we'll certainly get back to you. And if you like this video, go ahead and click the thumbs up button. That really helps us out, gets this out to more people, so we can ultimately build a better product. Share this with your colleagues and other people in your community. That's also great. The more input and feedback we can get, the better product we can build, and the more efficient we can make all of you. And subscribe to the channel so that you can be notified when we have more demos like this, more information about features we're adding to the product, releases, all that good stuff. So thanks for watching. Have a great day. And we're excited to see what you build using Slingshot. Thanks for watching.